Welcome to the Montgomery County Department of Permitting Services podcast. I'm Gail Lucas, your host. I'm also the division chief for the Customer Support and Outreach Division here at DPS. We have a very exciting podcast today because we have props with us today. Joining us on the podcast is Linda Kobylski, who is the division chief for the Land Development Division, and Johnny Campos, who is one of our field supervisors. Yes?
Correct.
Thank you for joining me today. We have, and you can see it sitting in front of us, a new acquisition in DPS. We have a drone that we will be using for training purposes, for inspection purposes, for site surveys. And these two good folks are here to talk about that drone and tell us about the drone program here at DPS. Let's dive in. Linda, tell us about the new drone program. How did it get started? Where's the idea come from?
So first of all, thank you for having us today. I am personally very excited to talk about this new launch of a new tool that we can use to do our inspections, particularly in land development. The idea actually came from Mr. Campos. It was his idea. He brought it forward, and fortunately for us and the department, we had senior leadership in this department, specifically Esan Modazetti, our deputy director at DPS, supported it fully. And we moved forward on purchasing it, getting training for it, and are actually starting to use it now for some of our trainings, educational purposes, and in the future, absolutely for permitted sites.
Johnny, is this the future of DPS? Is this the future of permitting?
Oh, yes. This definitely will be the future of permitting services. I'm very happy. Thank you for having me here. Very happy that Linda gave me this opportunity to actually, first I saw it as a like a dream. I'll be like, hey, what if we could do this? And she accepted it. So I was very happy. And then, of course, there's a lot of training, like she mentioned, and administrative stuff to get done before we actually make it happen. So, yeah, but definitely this will be the future.
And you're one of the certified pilots. We
That is
have
correct.
two at DPS. Who else is a certified pilot?
So we also have Mr. David Birch. He's the manager of the residential inspections. And he's also another certified pilot. So currently we do have two certified pilots within DPS.
Okay. How has this changed your job? How has this changed your inspection process?
Well, it's actually it's making it easier for us.
Okay.
So as before this drone idea, well, actually how it came into play was we went out to a site and it said the contractor wanted to remove a sediment trap. One of the requirements to remove a sediment trap was we need to make sure the entire area is completely stabilized. Okay. So I said, hey, do you guys happen to have a drone so you can fly over? Because I can't really see, exactly, because we're talking about 10 acres going into a trap. He said, let me look into that. And so he came out and he hired a contractor with a drone. And of course, it took some images like, Johnny, you see everything's mostly stable. I said, oh, this area could help. I was like, hey, what if we have a drone?
Right.
So that way we could, and that's how the idea got started. And then I said, Linda, help me. So this is, this, and I showed them the story and they said, let's try it out. So here we are now.
Right now, Linda, what are you using the drone for?
Typically, well, right now we're still training with it.
Okay.
Both Johnny and Dave Birch take it out at least weekly to test run it to make sure that they are fully capable of using it. This is an expensive, believe it or not. This is not a gigantic drone sitting in front of you, but it is an expensive piece of equipment. So we want to make sure that they are fully capable. Even though they got the certification, they need to practice with it.
Yes.
We have used it recently to record some very large sites for training. We're doing some cross-training in land development with our right-of-way folks, with sediment control and right-of-way inspectors. And that drone sitting in front of us took some very good quality imagery to show them some of the stuff that we do in sediment control and stormwater. Eventually going to use it at permitted sites. We will give our customers advance notice. The applicant will get a phone call or an email from us saying we plan to visit your site for an inspection tomorrow, and it will be used. We'll do the inspection with a drone.
Okay.
And I will also say the benefit, it's fast. We've had some very, very large sites that probably would have taken Johnny or someone on his team literally maybe weeks to fully walk the site. And we got drone footage of one of those sites within 6 minutes, and very, very good quality. It's also capable of measuring for us. So we deal with dirt and moving dirt and disturbance and things like that. And it can measure volumetrically as well. So we can see exactly how much approximately of disturbance you have at a site using the drone. So right now we're still in the baby steps, but eventually I fully expect this will be used very robustly. And again, it's helping us streamline. It's helping us do our work more efficiently. And it helps Johnny and his team not have to traverse through sites that might be very weedy, steep slopes, tick-infested, snake-infested sites. And they can do the same work using this device in front of us.
And to add to that, Gail, like she mentioned, that presentation that we did to Cross-Train, our sister division, it would have taken me probably 3 or 4 days to capture all the imagery and to capture the idea that we were trying to show the other inspectors. I did it within 2 hours.
Okay, so we know it has a camera. What other capabilities does this drone have?
That's a great question. So the drone itself is equipped with high resolution camera. It has thermal imagery as well. And also we could zoom in to almost 20 times.
Okay.
So I've been using it without having, to fly low altitudes. I could fly up to 400, but in certain areas we could only allow to 200. So we're trying to follow FFA regulations, of course, all times. But it has, it came with also a software we're going to be able to, like Lyndon mentioned, that we're going to be able to measure quantities of volume in the area of disturbance. So it has all this capabilities, which I'm very excited. It also flies up to 45 miles per hour. It has autopilot, so I could program a mission within the software and then just say start. It will fly by itself, take the images that I've set to the mission, of course, under supervision at all times, ready to cancel, abort mission and stuff like that. But it has really good capabilities.
And what's really nice about that, what he just said, is he could go back to that same site. That flight's already in the machine, so he can run it again. And make sure the super silt fence is still standing where it's supposed to stand, and identify, how much has the site changed since the last time he did it.
You also said it may be used eventually for residential. Tell me how it can be used other than for land development stuff.
So I don't want to speak for David, but he would talked about it. Sometimes he has to do like green roof inspections. And also tower inspections. So,
and solar panels.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah. So he said he's going to be using it for that. We're still developing, we're still, like Linda mentioned, we're still on the development phase. And we're going to see the fully potential. We probably are 50% of the potential, but there's a lot more we can learn from this.
Okay, I'm going to ask, and you can tell me no. Can we fly it now?
No.
Unfortunately, no.
All right.
But I will say this, because this is another benefit for the department. Johnny and Dave are the 2 certified pilots. Other divisions here at DPS and even Department of Environment approached us about our drone, and they may not use our drone. We're not going to loan it out to them, but we can from time to time. If they have a site they'd like a flyover, we can do that. Our zoning division here at DPS, this would be a very useful tool for them as well, because they enforce site plan work. So there are many, many uses for it, and I fully expect DPS is going to take full advantage of the technology, because we, especially here in land development, I'll talk up my team here a little bit. If we can find technology to help us do our jobs better, we're all about that, and we move forward with it when we are allowed to. And this is just another example of that.
Correct. I want to add to that as well. You asked if I could fly it here. So I want to take this opportunity that David and I had take several courses and preparations to become certified by the FAA. So we were both Part 107 licensed drone pilots. Took us a while to get it, but you have to go through a severe training and, of course, take an exam with the FAA. So there are certain regulations we need to follow, especially since we're so close to DC. So there's within 15 miles, 30 miles. There's different regulations.
All
based
right.
on. So, and also, I want to add also, we have a site that is, the perimeter controls is 2.8 miles.
Okay.
Now, to have an inspector walk 2.8 miles every 2 weeks, it could be exhausting. It could not be, I would probably complete it maybe within a full day.
Right.
This drone could do it within 30 minutes.
Okay, Johnny, can you share a few examples of how DPS is using the drone or plans to use the drone? But before you do that, give us a little more information about your job and specifically what the Land Development Division
That's a
does.
great question, Gail. So one of our duties as sediment control and stormwater management inspectors is that every site that is over 5,000 square feet requires sediment control permit.
Mm-hmm.
So some of these sites, of course, are really tiny, 5,000, but now we're talking about the 3-acre, 5-acre. So one of our jobs is to make sure that all the sediment controls are in proper state every time we go out. And of course, following up to make sure they're doing the proper maintenance. So some of these sites, like I said, is, large. We have a site that is 2.8 miles radius. And then we have 2.8 miles of super cell phones running around them.
Okay.
Some of these sites have a something called a sediment trap, which is pretty much a large temporary pond that is built temporarily during the construction to collect the sediment. So now, how do we properly inspect those? There are zones where there's steep slopes, like Linda mentioned, or very large sites. So that's pretty much what we do. Now, how do we get to those sites that are steep slopes, dangerous situations, because they've been there sitting for many, many years.
Mm-hmm.
They get growth, trees and branches. So that's what Blue Jay is here for.
Ah, we have a name.
Yeah, call sign Blue Jay. So Blue Jay is going to be used to reach those hard to get places.
Okay.
Do proper inspections close by those hard to reach places or dangerous situations, so we don't put our inspectors in harm's way. So we're going to be doing this on permitted sites, and I'm looking forward to develop more as far as technology goes, into drones for confined space and stuff like that. So the sky's the limit, no pun intended.
Okay, I'll take that pun. Thank you, Linda. Thank you, Johnny, for joining us on today's podcast. And thank you, our listeners, for tuning in. If you want information about the DPS drone program, or in fact, any information about DPS programs, please go to our website, montgomerycountymd.gov/DPS, for information about permitting services programs, permits, cool things that are coming down the pipe. And if you enjoyed this podcast, please share it with your friends and neighbors. And subscribe so that you always get the latest edition. If you have a question about the podcast, or if you have an idea of something you'd like to see on our podcast, please send us an email to dps.podcasts@montgomerycountymd.gov. Remember, DPS is your project partner.
This podcast is brought to you by County Cable Montgomery, your source for news and information from the Montgomery County government. Connect with us via cable, Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube by searching for County Cable MoCo.